How are my peeps doing? Today we're going to make one of my very favorite sauces. As you can tell, we're kind of still on a theme of doing some basics, getting some things in your freezer. I like to have stuff in your freezer to make dinners so much easier. And to have that quick and easy thing that you can whip out and dazzle some meal. But we're going to make a garlic Parmesan sauce. It's so good. You could almost put a straw in it and just drink it. I love it. I love to drizzle it over steamed or roasted broccoli. That's probably one of my most favorite ways to use it. But it is, sorry, I got something in my eyeball. It is super flexible and can be used in a bajillion different ways. And it's also easy, huh? Now that's going to be new, isn't it? That we're going to do something easy. But it's really simple. You're going to make something, basically a bechamel sauce. So we're going to start with some butter, add a little flour. You could use dairy-free butter as well. That works just fine. We'll get a nice kind of blonde roux, add some milk. I've got dairy-free almond milk. Well, it's not my favorite, but it's what I'm going to use because it's what I have. And then we add a little bit of salt and pepper, add some of our roasted garlic. Yep, I'm down to the bottom of the jar. So I've got to go get another jar out of the freezer, and a bunch of Parmesan cheese. And that's it. It's so easy. Y'all are going to love it. And I'm going to, even though I'm using real butter, because like my son says, I can just about eat it, I'm going to use a dairy-free cheese. This Violife is amazing. If you're dairy-free and you haven't tried the Violife products, especially, I don't know that I'd say especially, but especially the Parmesan cheese, it's unbelievable. Unfreaking believable. It's just like you're using a very high quality dairy Parmesan cheese. It's super good. So anyway, I'll stop on that now that you understand how much I like it. And let's get busy. So let's turn the camera down without breaking a thing. Look at that. There we go. All right, we're going to start with a tablespoon of butter-ish. I mean, it's a tablespoon. I just don't necessarily measure. All right, so we're going to get that in there, get it melted. And like I said, this is going to be, if you watched our bechamel sauce video, I mean, for all intent and purposes, that's what this is. The increments of the butter and the flour are a little bit different, a little bit less, because you don't need the roux to make it quite as thick, because you're going to be adding all the cheese, and the cheese is going to balance out that thickness. So, I mean, it would work if you made just the bechamel and added the cheese, but you'd probably wind up with a little thicker sauce than you want. Okay, so we've got our hot butter, and I'm going to start adding in a couple tablespoons of flour. And as always, I'm using my brown rice flour, my favorite thing to use. Just kind of sprinkle that around. You want to get it mixed in really good. Make sure you don't have any really oily spots or any dry spots. So the best thing, the way I like to do my roux, and I don't know if this is the appropriate way. I'm going to turn my heat down just a tad because I'm starting to get a little brown on the sides of my pot, and I don't really want it to brown that quickly. But remember, we're going for a blonde roux, so we want it light. You want your flour cooked, so you don't want it gritty and grainy and icky, but you don't want it to get real brown. But what I started to say a second ago, when I noticed I was getting a little brown in here, is I'll stir mine around and then kind of let it sit for, 10 seconds. Because it's going to kind of cook and start getting a tiny bit brown. And then stir it around. And then do the same thing. Just let it sit there for a little bit. The flour that's on the bottom of the pan where the direct heat is what's going to brown first. So you want to be careful with that. And you don't want to let it get too dark. But if you do nothing but stir, it will eventually brown, but you'll be here for about 4 days. And I don't have that kind of time, and I'm sure you don't either. So, if you stir and then let it sit, kind of hear it bubbling maybe, and then stir, then you're going to get the nice color, whatever color you're going for, whether it's a blonde roux all the way to a super dark roux. Whichever way you're going, you'll get what you need. Can you see that? So that's a nice color. I'll turn my heat back up, and I'm only on like medium. I got a gas stove and it's just on a medium. So we got that where we want it to be. Now we're gonna add the milk and just keep whisking. Ooh, I can't do a thing with this left hand. It makes me feel like I'm completely retarded. All right, so we're going to stir this around real good. Maybe turn the heat, you know, just up a tiny bit. You want to heat your milk up and, you know, get it really, really good and blended so that you have a nice, little bit more watery than your basic bechamel, but it's going to be a nice basic bechamel sauce. You don't have any seasonings in it yet. All right, I'm going to let this simmer on low, or not simmer, but just kind of go on low because I got to shred my cheese. Oh, I didn't do that yet, and I can't drop a block of cheese in there. So I'm going to pause this, shred my cheese, and then I'll be back. Okay, got all my cheese shredded up. Let's turn this down so you can see. All right, so we've got warm cream sauce, a little bit thinner than normal, which is perfectly fine. We need a cup and 2 tablespoons. I know it's kind of a weird measurement, but that just is what I have found seems to work best. Oh, look at that. It's thick. I like it. And then we're going to put in a tablespoon of minced garlic, and I measured this earlier while I was mincing it up. Get every little bit out of the jar so we don't leave any and waste any. Yum. Y'all, I'm telling you, you could put a straw in this. Sorry, my oven's heating up in case you hear that. And then we need a half a teaspoon of salt, pink Himalayan, and half a teaspoon of pepper. And that's it. And you know what? I may have got a little carried away with my cheese because it looks pretty thick. And that's okay. I mean, this is, you know, it's kind of one of those things. Oh my, I wish y'all could smell this. Goodness gracious. You can add more garlic if you like a stronger garlic flavor. This is pretty stout, but it's freaking good. I'm going to add a little milk because I think I might have over measured my cheese, which it's not the end of the world. If you had steamed broccoli, you could just pour this right over it. Or if it was roasted broccoli, either one. It's a little thicker than I like it. Ooh, you know what else is good? Add a little chicken stock. I think that's what I'll do. So hold that thought while I get some chicken stock. Okay, I have a big jug of stock thawing in the sink, so I just poured some into this little jar. And I know the measurements are right on this because I've made this 870,000 times, but I just didn't measure my cheese very well, which, you know, ain't the end of the world. Look, see, this is how you fix a screw up. Add a little chicken stock. You could have added milk. You could add water for that matter. But I just like to add something that's got some good flavor to it and get it to the consistency you want. See, that's a little more like it. Ooh, baby, I've got some fresh broccoli in the refrigerator. I know what I'm having for supper. But this makes, you know, right about 2 cups. And so, you know, like everything else, I'll put about 10 ounces usually in a little container, stick it in the freezer, label it, and I have a beautiful, amazing, super tasty, wonderfully flavorful garlic Parmesan sauce whenever. Whoop, knocking the phone off, dadgummit. There we go. Whenever I need it. Ta-da! It's so easy. And it's so good. And it freezes so beautifully. So you can make this in a big jumbo batch, double, quadruple that, and then have it in your freezer ready to go. That is the key. That is the key to stress less cooking and feeding your family. Having things prepared, planned ahead. And if you get all these little sauces, the things that we've talked about, the trilogy, the cutting up the stuff, the roasted garlic, the garlic Parmesan sauce, the teriyaki sauce, the enchilada sauce, all these things, have all the things, stewed chickens, just all that kind of stuff. If you have it ready, then when it's time to put supper together, it is a breeze. And then you can enjoy it. You'll be unstressed or not stressed or stressed less or whatever. And your family will know that, and everybody can enjoy it, and get your kids to help. It's just a beautiful thing. So anyway, do all the stuff on the video like we always talk about. Like, pause, not pause. What is that? Like, share, comment, subscribe, all the stuff. Do those things, but most importantly, do this thing. Make this sauce. Ooh, you know what else would be freaking amazing? The baked pork chops I did a few videos back. The Mahaffey pork chops that are so good. Drizzle some of this on it. Oh, that would be good. Or make you some chunked potatoes, like boil some little chunks of potatoes, toss them in this, or make you mashed potatoes. This would be awesome. A baked potato, drizzle it over it. A baked sweet potato with this drizzled over it would be awesome. So anyway, you get me? You feel me? You feel me? Lots of options with this. So give it a shot. Let me know how it goes. Y'all have a good one. We'll be back soon.